Good afternoon, everyone. 3:30 in the UK, 9:30 in the US on Tuesday, the 19th of January 2021. Welcome. I'm going to try and keep this short because I don't think these markets of ours are going to see many bids until this event is over in the US tomorrow. And people see what policy is going to be. But nevertheless, a very good open in the US today, the markets have opened up. As you can see, the advances well ahead of the declines, and although the short-term trend closed down at the close last Friday, the markets were closed yesterday, its intraday at least has turned up today. So all of the measures on the trend on VectorVest are up. I've decided not to do too much until Wednesday or Thursday, although I couldn't resist buying into one share in the American market right at the open. I think that, if you'll pardon the pun, Peloton needs to pedal a bit harder here. It's off this morning, and I've taken some profits on half of it already, but it pulled back towards my entry point where the stop loss is now placed. So it's still hanging in there. Apps moved up a little bit after selling off on Friday, but the one I did buy today is FLGT, and I think I've got the chart open. Yeah, here we go. That's the chart, folks. And before we go to the chart, let's just look at the fundamentals. The share is trading at 74. VectorVest believes it's worth 129, so significantly undervalued. The relative value on a scale between 0 and 2 at 1.83, which is just off the scale, good. Relative safety, not bad at 1.03. Certainly wouldn't be a worry-free type share, but nevertheless just fine for a quick in and out swing trade, which is really what I'm after. The short-term trend is exceptionally strong at 1.84, and the long-term trend very strong at 1.76 on a scale between 0 and 2. And the darn thing is not messing about. It's going to grow earnings at 51% next year. That's our best shot at it, and that is quite a clip, I think you would agree. So if you look at the chart, there's the chart, folks, and there was really good places to get into this share, somewhere down around here. As you can see, it came back and kissed that old top, pulled back into the zone here and into the zone here. As you can see, that pullback in fact happened on falling volume, and then it pushed up very strongly on rising volume, which is always good. Now, I rarely buy a breakout, but this particular trend satisfies my criteria for a breakout, because that low, ladies and gentlemen, is higher than the previous high. And that's what I call, and what Charles Dow called, a fast trend, and that's when breakouts tend to work the best. Okay, it's a trend that's accelerating. As you can see, over the last 3 months, earnings per share in this darn thing has gone from $2 to $6. Volume is saying that it's being accumulated, so I bought it this morning at the open as it broke through that high, and it's $1 or so into the money. We shall see what happens. Stop loss very tight, stop loss a tick or two under Friday's low. Okay, so let's see what happens to that. I normally like to buy pullbacks into this zone on falling volume, but if I see a strong trend like this, it's just worth having a go. And as you can see, the value of the share right up here, and as the earnings pushed up here, VectorVest revalued the share in November last year. So that apart from relative safety being on the low side, it really ticks all the boxes. And I think for a swing trading share, it's a really good example of a share with excellent fundamentals for swing trading. Let's see how it goes. I particularly like this volume picture as well. As you see, big up days, volume is really good, and this period volume really good, and as it went sideways, volume was falling off, and it's pushing up. It's pushed its nose above $75 there a second ago. So I think lots and lots of room in that particular share. So that's what I've been up to this morning. As I say, Peloton, I made some money on the first half of the position, and it's now pulling back down to the stop loss. Apple is still hanging around now. PLTR is looking much better after a sell-off on Friday, and that's worth having a look at as well. I think that is this push-up that was rejected late on Friday. Those of you that are Fibonacci analysts, it came off a 78% retracement, which Fibonacci Achi, I think it's called properly, analysts find quite important. So it needs to get through this level, pushed up in good volume on Friday, needs to get through this level, and my stop loss underneath that low. So let's see how that goes. Nothing else, nothing much else has changed. One thing that's worthy of a look now before we go any further is the gold market itself, and that's bullion, folks. And this is this breakout that in fact gave us a hard time as it failed. Yesterday in the holiday, the gold bulls were busy, and again, those people that are Fibonacci analysts, that low yesterday was an exact 78% retracement of this range, and I think that this low point around 1800 is really important. I'm holding two gold stocks in the UK. Both of them had a reasonable day yesterday based on that, so this is holding. This candle pattern at this 78% retracement is known as a hammer, and that's quite a positive sign. So I'm hoping, and I know hope is not a strategy, but certainly this looks to me like a very low risk entry into gold stocks, assuming that you've got the stomach and the resolve to get out of them if the market should break down below 1800. So gold has got a propensity to disappoint like nothing else on the planet. However, I seem to be addicted to trading in gold shares. They are not for everyone, so just be warned of that. If we look at the UK, the market was flat when I looked a few minutes ago. The primary wave has been down now for 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 days. And all the other measures of the trend on VectorVest are still up, and I pretty much haven't done anything at all, but plus 500 is sitting, and it's right at the bottom of my list, and any weakness at all at £13 or below, then the darn thing must go. However, it's at a very good level, and any more weakness, it just simply has to go. Everything else looking quite good. So I'm very optimistic of this market, and I think that, as I said at the start, we're going to struggle to get some bids until the politics is clearer. And that done, there's a huge amount of money moving into this market, as you know. There is, it's so easy to get lost in the billions and the trillions, but I think there's 800 billion already agreed and another 1.8 billion in the pipeline, which is a huge amount of cash. Just to give you an idea of how much cash that is, that $2.8 billion is exactly the same as the UK's GDP in the entire 2019, and it's 15% of the US GDP, and that's going to be moving into these markets, and I can pretty much guarantee that it's all going to be spent. So I remain quite positive of these markets, folks, and those of you that know me will know I always I'm quite positive about the market, and I think that we can have a really good run from here, everything else being equal. Nevertheless, I shall be trading the market, not my forecast. But for the moment, and if I practice the discipline that I keep talking about of making sure that my mind is anchored in this moment, all of the trends on VectorVest are up, and I intend, when the politics is out of the way in a day or two, to build quite sizable positions in the US market, swing trades in the US market, and to hold on to all my positions in the UK market, assuming that they stay above their respective stop losses. Let's trade the market, not the forecast, but I remain optimistic of the next few weeks and few months. If we now look at the S&P, that's the S&P, folks, and that's where it is. I think even under the most optimistic situation, it could spike down to that support. That might upset a few intraday traders, but nevertheless it shouldn't affect our longer term positions that we're holding for a few days till a few weeks. I hope you found this useful. Just be very careful in the gold market. That 1800 level is quite pivotal. There's a great deal of fresh air under that $1,800 level. Thanks very much.